Going out for groceries is easy for you, right? Imagine that for some, leaving their home to get water is like stepping onto a battlefield, and nights are spent in a basement fighting for their lives. Picture the world's most dangerous countries. What comes to mind? Perhaps images of war-torn landscapes, lawless regions, or societies in collapse. Today we venture into the realities of 6 countries that carry this dubious distinction: Syria, Afghanistan, Somalia, Yemen, South Sudan, and Venezuela. In Syria, a brutal civil war has claimed over 500,000 lives, displacing millions more. The conflict, ignited by the Arab Spring in 2011, has pitted the Assad government against a myriad of rebel factions and extremist groups. The shattered infrastructure and the presence of foreign powers only add to the crisis. Over 500,000 fatalities estimated since the conflict's onset. Massive displacement with over 6 million internally displaced and over 5 million refugees. Destruction of infrastructure, leading to critical humanitarian situations. Presence of multiple foreign powers and extremist groups complicates the conflict. Switching our focus to Afghanistan, we find a nation grappling with a long-standing conflict. Initiated by the Soviet invasion in 1979, the situation has been further complicated by the Taliban insurgency and subsequent US intervention. The country is the stage for frequent terrorist attacks, severe restrictions on women's rights, and natural disasters. Afghanistan also serves as a significant hub for opium production, feeding the global drug trade. Next, we turn to Somalia, a country marked by fragmented governance. The federal government faces challenges from autonomous regions and the Islamist militant group Al-Shabaab. The persistent threat of piracy, recurrent droughts, famines, and limited economic opportunities make life extremely challenging for the Somali population. Persistent threat of piracy in the Gulf of Aden. Recurrent droughts and famines exacerbating the humanitarian situation. Al-Shabaab's control over large rural areas and its terror attacks in urban centers. Limited economic opportunities, high unemployment rates. In Yemen, the Houthi insurgency and subsequent Saudi-led intervention have created a dire humanitarian crisis. The conflict has claimed over 100,000 lives, and the destruction of infrastructure has resulted in cholera outbreaks and widespread famine. Millions have been displaced and are in dire need of humanitarian assistance. Over 100,000 people estimated killed in the conflict. Cholera outbreaks and widespread famine due to blockades and destruction of infrastructure. Large-scale displacement with millions in need of humanitarian assistance. Intense urban warfare, particularly in cities like Sana'a and Hodeidah. South Sudan, a nation born out of a long fight for independence, has been embroiled in a civil war fueled by political rivalry. Ethnic tensions have led to gross human rights violations, and over 4 million people have been displaced. Widespread food insecurity and limited healthcare access compound the hardships faced by the South Sudanese population. Ethnic tensions leading to atrocities and human rights violations. Over 4 million displaced, both internally and as refugees. Widespread food insecurity and limited access to healthcare. Involvement of child soldiers in conflicts. Finally, Venezuela's dangerous status is not due to war, but economic mismanagement and political corruption under President Nicolas Maduro. Hyperinflation, severe shortages of food and medicine, high crime rates, and political oppression have led to one of the worst economic collapses outside a war zone. Hyperinflation leading to one of the worst economic collapses outside war. Severe shortages of food, medicine, and basic services. High crime rates, including violent street crime and kidnapping. Political oppression and crackdowns on opposition. In conclusion, the unique challenges faced by these 6 countries, Syria, Afghanistan, Somalia, Yemen, South Sudan, and Venezuela, illustrate the multifaceted nature of danger. It is not limited to war and conflict, but extends to economic collapse, political corruption, and natural disasters. These complexities demand a nuanced understanding and a concerted international effort to seek resolution and provide much-needed aid.